S-Chan presents educational video lectures. Difficult concepts made easy. Study anywhere, anytime.
Hello students, till yet we have done the IC 555 circuits. Now we'll do the IC 555 as a multivibrators. My name is Kanhaiya Jha and welcome to the S-Chan Academy. We'll start with the multivibrators in a different modes as a multivibrators, Astable mode, Monostable mode and the Bistable mode, and we'll study how the IC 555 circuits are useful in this.
If you want to study this topic in detail, refer to the book by S-Chan Publishing. Link is provided in the description box.
My name is Kanhaiya Jha and welcome to the S-Chan Academy. The first thing is the IC 555 circuit as a bistable mode. So what is the meaning of the bistable mode and how the IC 555 acts on this? So in the digital mode, it generally acts as a flip-flop. Okay, in the bistable mode, the 555 acts as a flip-flop. In the flip-flop, we can see that there is a reset mode, which is a pin number 4. Pin number 3 is to calculate the output, and the pin number 1 and the pin number 8 are generally used to give the different outputs. What is basically a meaning of the term flip-flop is that on a given set of the input, which can be a binary, which can be a non-digital, but the output has to be a digital. So we need a digital output from this particular timer, whatever the respect of the input that we give to the particular circuit. Then the trigger and the reset pin, we can use the pin number 2 and the pin number 4, okay, are there on the particularly used with a pin number 6, which is a threshold, which is a floating voltage. So basically this is the pin reset. You can see that you can done in the earlier module also. Okay, this is basically the bistable mode of the particular IC 555. Whenever we are using the particular value of the reset, it means that the capacitor has to go with the 0 and again it has to come back again, or it has to go to a particular timing which is generally set and then it has to come back again on that particular value. Using the reset from the ground to the particular higher level values, we are using this. Then the pin number 5 is connected to the ground, which can be used, or this particular capacitor can be used in the microfarad also. We can see that it can work in the 0.01 microfarad, and then the pin number 7 is kept on the floating mode, which is used for a discharging. So we can see that this is basically used as a bistable mode. In the bistable mode, we can see how pin configurations are generally used, how the VCC and the ground, the voltage and the ground, how they are connected with the pin number 1 and the 8, then the reset value, then the trigger value, then the threshold value, and then the discharging. Here we can see this is a grounded, okay, and here we can see the capacitor which is charging, which can be used from the microfarad also. So this can be used from the microfarad, and then it can go for the higher particular voltage also, and then from the pin number 3 we are calculating the particular output. So we can see that how a bistable mode at IC 555 is generally used as a bistable mode. Monostable is basically calculated from the RC circuit. RC, we have done it earlier, that how the RC circuits are generally used. Here we are using the pulse pin, the pin which is a negative trigger and the pin which has a high particular voltage. So basically what we generally do is that we are using the two pins of the IC 555. One is at a low particular voltage and one at a particular high voltage. So we are using one pin for the low voltage and we are using the another pin as high particular voltage to maintain the difference. Okay, and then the trigger 555 is less than 1/3 of the particular voltage, and that makes the output of the capacitor. So basically what we are doing is we are maintaining a potential difference between the higher potential and the lower potential when we keep a particular pin at a very low voltage and we are keeping a particular pin at a very high voltage. So when we are keeping the particular pin for a low voltage and we are keeping the particular pin for a high voltage, in that particular case the potential difference is developed, and when the potential difference is developed in the particular circuit in the way, then it can work. Then we can see that the capacitor will also work. Then the threshold frequency, we can see that for the capacitor C1, okay, and the time period over the output becomes low. So at the same time 555 pin 7 is connected to the 0 volt, discharging the capacitor ready for the next trigger. So along with the potential difference that we have maintained in this particular monostable mode, this trigger is also used to use for the next triggering voltage. So in a very summing of the monostable, first we maintain a potential difference by keeping one leg at a very low frequency or the low potential as we have mentioned, and one leg with a high potential. As you can see that we can see that one is a leg 1, another one is a leg 8. So we are keeping this at a difference. One will be at a very low voltage and one will be at a very high voltage. So if one is a very low voltage and one is a very high voltage, this trigger that we are using, the trigger can calculate the particular value, and this in the same hand the trigger is already set to read and to trigger out the other particular values also. So we study here that what happens in the particular, what we generally say in the monostable. We can see that the timing period triggered when the trigger input 555 pin 2 is less than 1/3, and it makes the output high, and the capacitor C1 starts to charge through the resistor. Once the time period has for the trigger pulse are ignored. Then we have this particular circuit. Very important to understand that how the input trigger works. The input trigger reset the flip-flop and the charges until the upper comparator trips and sets the flip-flop. So you can see that operation amplifier 1 and the operation amplifier 2, the operation op-amp is generally used, okay, in the inverting mode, and you can see that both the op-amps are used in inverting mode, and we are using this particular resistor. You are using the resistor, and then we are using this in the inverter to calculate the particular output. So here we can see that it is used as a discharging transistor. A transistor is basically used in the output to discharge a particular transistor, where we are using the resistors at this particular mode and one capacitor. So here we are studying that how the RC circuit, the circuit that we have learned in the previous modules for the RC circuit, how the RC circuits are connected with the operational amplifier, and the operation amplifier in the output we are connecting with the discharge transistor, and the circuit of the multivibrators or the generally is ready, which will work from the lower particular potential to the higher particular potential, and which will work for a different triggering voltage also. Again, coming back to the particular circuit, students, please remember that we are using the two particular operation amplifier, this one, and one inverter is used in the particular output. Okay, in the output we are using a particular discharge transistors also, that we are using our transistors to discharge a particular value, and a capacitor is used. So here we can see the 1/3 of the VCC, that when the voltage is the 1/3 of the particular VCC, then it is basically, it can be used. So this is the particular circuit. Multivibrators are there used for the particular astable mode. Astable mode are basically used for the free running multivibrators. They do not require any particular trigger. Okay, and the time period is low and high. Depend upon the value of the resistor and the value of the capacitor, the value will be very high or very low in this particular purpose. This particular circuit can be used as a monostable. This circuit can be used for the astable, and this particular circuit can be used as a bistable mode. Okay, so all this particular mode they can be used. They can be used at a different value of the transistors. They can be used different value of the resistors, and the potential will generally vary from, you can see that from the very low particular potential to the very high particular potential. So here what will happen is that the output that we will get, the output will be always in the digital mode. Output will be always in the digital mode. Whatever the output that we get will be always in the digital mode. So what we have done till yet, that how the 555 is used as a monostable, bistable and astable mode with a particular circuit. So let's take a small break, and after the break we will learn that what is the circuit configuration and what are the particular application of these particular multivibrators. Thank you.
Now quality learning is easily available at your doorstep. S. Chand Academy brings detailed lectures based on AICTE curriculum as per the New Education Policy 2020. So do not forget to subscribe to the S. Chand Academy and access the wide world of knowledge conveniently sitting at your home. Stay connected and keep watching S. Chand Academy. Happy learning!
Welcome students. So before the break, what we have learned about the particular circuit of the multivibrators. We have done that what are the multivibrators, how we are using the IC 555 timer circuit in the multivibrators, okay, and how it generally works at the basic flip-flops. We have learned that we are using the op-amp in this case, and along with the op-amp we are using the resistors, capacitors, and yes, we are using a discharge transistor in the output. So after this mode we will learn here that how it is used as a stable mode. So a stable mode basically a free running multivibrator. Okay, so we have both the calculations in this. The time period for the low and the high can be calculated with the resistors and the capacitor, and outside this there is a timer which is showing you the output of the particular thing. And the outside we are using, as we have shown in the previous circuit, that we are using a discharge transistor in this. So whatever the timing variation it is showing, it will make the particular calculation. We have done that how we are using this particular IC 555 as a bistable mode. Bistable mode, we have done that how the pin configuration we are using it, how the capacitance are generally used, and how we are doing the reset value from the one particular value to the another value, and how the discharge capacitor is generally used. After that, we are using this particular same thing as a monostable mode, and the monostable mode we have learned that how we are varying this with the frequency voltage range, the potential range from the higher range and the lower range. One leg we are keeping it for the higher range and one leg we are keeping it for the lower range. How the range variation generally helps us to make the different calculations. Okay, the range variations will generally help us that how to make the bigger potential that gives the particular output at a different mode. If you focus to this fourth point, the timing period is triggered when the trigger input 555 pin 2 is less than 1/3, then the output high, then makes the output high, and the capacitor started for the trigger pulses are, we can see that through the resistor R1 as we have seen in the circuit, and the time period started for the trigger pulses are ignored. Here is the circuit. If we can make this circuit again using the different op-amps. So basically we'll use here two op-amp. In the output also we are using a discharge transistor, and we are using the RC circuit here. So if you can see that the RC circuit is used here, okay, and this RC circuit is using the input. Output we are using a transistor, and then we are getting the particular output in this particular case. So a multivibrator are generally used for the monostable, bistable and astable mode. Even we can learn here that how the multivibrators can generally work as a flip-flop mode also. So the idea is that first we form the small components like diodes, transistors and all that. From diodes and transistors we make the integrated circuit. We are using a transistor, and after that we are using an integrated circuit. We combine the basic small components, we make an integrated circuit. And how the integrated circuit, a very small operation amplifier, then we are using it for a different mode. They are using as a flip-flop mode, they are using it for the different operation. So these particular circuits are used everywhere. If you go to the application, then we can see that they can use as a trigger, they can use as a low ramp generator, PWM, Then we can use this as a timer circuit, pulse generator, time delay generator, sequential timing, use as a quad timer and all that. So we can see that, you can see here sequence generating in the sense that it can be used as a timer for a different sequence. We can put the particular sequence, we can set the particular variation of time, and it will work on the particular variation, different variation of the particular time. So we can see here that how a particular IC 555 is used in a different modes, and it is used in a different modes, and how we make the calculations in monostable, in the bistable and astable, how the potential difference was maintained, how we maintain it from the higher to lower, and with a different reset particular values with a different threshold voltages, and how we calculate this. Time delay generation, it can be used also, it can be used as sequential circuit also, and then it can use for the different applications. These applications are widely used for telecommunication circuits, communication circuits. This are used when we want to set a particular signal from the one particular point to another particular point. We want to block the particular signal. We want the communication done. So this particular circuit, particular IC is very important. Again, in the summing words, that from the pin configuration to the functions of the different pins, they are used in the IC 555. Then we vary the particular 555 and we use it as a different boards, monostable, bistable, astable, with the particular circuit diagram when we are using an op amp, and we are using that as a flip-flop, and then these are the applications of the IC 555. Hope the concept of IC 555 is more clear from this video. Thank you.
If you want to study this topic in detail, refer to the book by S. John Publishing. Link is provided in the description box. If you found our video interesting, please like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to press the bell icon.
All rights reserved. This video has been prepared for educational purposes only. No part of it may be reproduced or copied without the permission of the copyright holder.